Hi Lifers, this is Ashley. I'm back with another tutorial. Today I wanted to do something, a very simple eye look. So this isn't for anybody, well, I guess it's for everybody, but this isn't for somebody who's super advanced in makeup. This is a very simple eye look with a little bit of smoke. You can do it in different stages. You could do a simple little bit in the crease. You could always add a little smoke to the outside of the eye, and you can add some shimmer. We'll start in stages. So the first thing that I need is my trusty mirror. So I'm going to zoom in. And I'm going to do both eyes at the same time. I find that it's easier, instead of coming on here and having one eye done and not being able to match them both up, that it's easier just to go eye to eye. So with any, I already have my eye primer on and my lashes done. So where we're going to start is we're always going to start with a base. I used to never do this, and no wonder my looks when I first started. Sorry, I'm looking greasy. We're not very vibrant. We're not very even. Because if you put eyeshadow over no base whatsoever, you're not evening out your lid and everything looks patchy. And also the colors in the eyeshadows don't show out the way that they're supposed to show up or the way they look in the pan, because you have your discoloration on your eyes underneath it. So I'm going to start with, I got these little guys on Amazon, and this is just a pull. They don't do much for me because my hair is so thick, but they do keep my fringe out of the way. So that's what I have on my eye. The one I use is Jason Wu. You can use any, even if you wanted to and you only had concealer. A brighter concealer would work. Usually not a flesh tone concealer and that matches your skin tone, unless you are doing a more sultry eye, and then you don't need the bright color underneath to, like, if you're doing a colorful look, you're always going to need to do a brighter concealer. If you're doing more of a smoky, you can do a darker concealer, or even something darker than your actual eye. Both things. Some people like a sticky base to start. I don't find, especially for a beginner, that putting a sticky base and trying to put shadows over it works for anyone. So I use the Jason Wu, and then so I put that on, and then I just take any kind of translucent setting powder. I set it over, and that's where I'm set right there. So you're going to always start with a transition color. For this, I honestly don't even know. I don't have an idea in mind of what I actually want to. But actually, I think I'm going to go with more of like a purpley, tanny, creamy type color. Maybe even I'll just use my Glam palette on this one. So we've got our little, and actually what's great about these is it has transition, crease, inner corner, outer corner, and smoke. So that's really easy. And then it also has a blush and a highlighter in there for somebody. This is Natasha Denona, for somebody that doesn't know where to place shadow. I think that the transition color in there is just a little bit too bright. So I'm going to start with this kind of pinky-ish color, and it's called Soft and Sweet from my transition palette from Dominique Cosmetics. If my go-to is always a tan smoky eye, isn't everybody? But for today, we're not going to do that. But transition is just a color that you're going to put down that's going to make it easier for other colors to melt into it. And to slowly transition into the eye. So this is a little bit lighter color, and for me, I always like a really fluffy brush. This is the e.l.f. blending brush. This isn't the fluffiest they make, but it's a really good one to start out in. And for this, there doesn't need to be much technique. The only technique you do need is that you're using, you're holding if you want light pressure and you want a diffuse look, you're always holding your brush at the end of the brush. Because if you're down here, you can put a lot of more pressure and you're going to get more patchiness. Now so then I'm going to go back and forth in windshield wiper motions, and I do very light layers. So you see there's just that little light pink. It says soft and sweet, which is actually how it is. And you're gonna do windshield wiper motions. And like I said, I'm gonna do both eyes. If you ever pick up too much shadow, and I have a wonky eye. Today is my wonky one. It's winter, and so I have a little bit of dry skin on my eye. So I don't know how these will blend. Sometimes I'll actually start down here and get the most color. Because on me, if I want to look, so just back and forth, very soft. This should feel very delicate on your eye. Nothing should feel, no, the eye look that I go to most times is to have a little more, and what I'm going to do today is do a little bit more smoke out here, a little lighter colors in here, and it kind of just gives this really nice blown out cat effect. And it's so easy to achieve. I had been wanting to maybe do a spotlight eye, but spotlight eye is not an everyday eye, and it's not for a beginner. To be honest, it takes a lot more blending. So go there. You just kind of go back and forth with your eyes and make sure that they're even. I'm also going to look down in my actual mirror. Okay. And then the more you're blending, the more diffuse you want. Hold your brush towards the out. So there's our transition color, which just means it's transitioning everything that you're going to build into it and up to the eye. Very simple. And honestly, if you dang wanted, you could go out the door like this, put a little mascara on. There's your basic eye. But biggest thing with this is hold your brush towards the very end. Do light layers. Everything in makeup is in light layers, especially your face makeup, light layers, especially as you get older so you don't look cakey. Same thing. If you put too much down, it's a lot harder to blend. There we are. If you just look back, put a little bit of mascara on, and there's your daily look. So easy. So then we're going to build on that though, because I want to do a little more fun than that, right? So for my crease, oh, that's a little too fluffy too. For my crease, I like, this is another e.l.f. brush. They just have dang good brushes. This is a fluffy brush, but it's a little flatter, if you can see that. So it's kind of a flat, fluffy brush. And this is called the e.l.f. Blending. Or e.l.f. Blending, and the other one is the e.l.f. Blending. I don't know what the difference is. One's more fluffy, one's fluffy, but a little flatter. And this is going to make it easier to start to define your crease. And you can do it many ways. A lot of people will do the same windshield wiper motions. Sometimes it's a little bit easier that way if you're going out the door really quickly. But I will show you a different technique. And I'm going to go in. I might actually go into these don't have names. And this is the Mothership V. I don't know numericals. But this is, oh my gosh, if you can even look, these are so insane. Like Pat McGrath has the best shimmers, the best. Natasha Denona and Pat McGrath they just have the best, but that's why they're $125 palette. You see this? How many shades is that? 10 shades for $125. Actually, smart tip is I go to Mercari. Which is like a resale site, and sometimes people will just use them as swatches. Like I don't even know who they swatch for, or if they're some famous YouTuber that just uses it for swatches and just for one review and then sells it for like dang $60 online. So that's a really good tip as far as, I mean, I'm a nurse. I can't afford a lot. I have kids, and getting a very expensive palette for really cheap is great for me. And again, Mercari is a great one. So where we're going to do, so we've got the shadow, and I tap off a little bit because I like to build. I know it seems wasteful when they're that much. What you're going to do is you're going to tap this into your crease. Tuck it. Now, if you had a hooded eye, which means when you open your eye, there's no shadow, you're going to start a lot higher than this. You're going to start up here because when you open your eye and test it, and if your eye goes to the top of your lid, start a little bit higher. I do not have a hooded eye. I was blessed with a very big open eye. And you're going to tuck in that socket, and you're going to slowly pat your shadow outward. See how we're starting to build a little definition there? I'm going to go in one more time, and I'm actually going to look down so this into my dollar store. But the way you get blend that freaking good is with a really expensive shadow, to be honest. Now, cheaper shadows that I feel like blend really well, ColourPop. They're known as the people that come out with a new palette every single day. But their formula doesn't change. They have a good, and they're like, I just bought a palette from them called Of Quartz. It's a cool toned type eye. Then you might kind of do a windshield wiper. Just get it really nice into that crease. But I found that patting them out is the best way to blend. Look how good that looks. No, I think it was like $14 at Ulta. Okay, again, take that a little bit deeper shade that you want in your crease. And you're going to tuck it. And then what are you going to do? So when I'm doing this technique, I'm down on the brush a little bit farther where I want more of the concentration of color. But as I'm blending and I'm patting this eye look out, which I still got to look in here. As I'm patting out, I'm using less pressure and I'm at the farther back on the brush. And sometimes I'll kind of do, because I like a little smoked out effect. Really far back on the brush. Really far. Any blending is done with your hand, is done with your fingers at the back of your brush. Okay? Again, I'm not a makeup artist. I'm just good at makeup. And I practice a lot. I've said in another video, it's my therapy half the time. Like I've been dealing with a lot, boo-hoo, a lot of back pain and shoulder pain due to stress. And the only time I don't have as much back pain is when I'm painting my face or talking to you guys, so even if I never get 1 million followers or whatever, this is very therapeutic to me. You guys are my therapy. Anybody's watching this. And if you want, you can comment and say what your therapy is. What's something, another thing I do for stress relief is working out. So even with my back like this, if I get moving and I get on a treadmill and I walk at a 3-point, I have super long legs. Just a gentle walk for me, not even a brisk walk, is at a 3.5. And I'll just walk on there, kind of move and stretch while I'm walking. And comment below what your most therapeutic thing is. There, we're doing layers. So what we're gonna do now, sometimes I'll kind of go up here too and build her out. But it's a lot of tapping and swiping. And again, it takes time to learn. Sorry, it takes time to learn. But there, we've built up and we're kind of a little more sultry there, right? So stages. First eye was that easy little swipe out the door. Done with a super fluffy brush, throw on mascara. Next one is tucking it into the eye socket and slowly building it out. I love natural light. My ring light, for some reason, maybe I need to turn it down a little bit. But my ring light kind of like blinds me out and you can't actually see my features as well. Okay, so next is an even more dense, flatter brush. What's another option? Well, this one kind of fell apart while I was washing it. Wash your brushes, at least once a week, I would say, if you use them really frequently. This one is a Laura Lee. Or no, this is a Morphe. No wonder, because Morphes fall apart really. Honest, almost every Morphe brush I own is taped together. If that says the quality. This one is It Cosmetics. And this is Airbrush Shadow as well. But what we're going to do is we're going to start building outward. And this is where we're going to get our smoky eye. Also, if you wanted, you could take... Let me show you the shimmers in this palette. Oops. Can you even pick it up? Oh my gosh, it's so insane. You could honestly take a shimmer, which we'll show later, and put a little shimmer on your lid, mascara, you're done now. But if you want to continue to build, I'm going to take this other color from my mothership. It's this brownie color. Also, comments. Do you like warm smoky eyes more, or do you like cool? Cools are like your grayish, black, darker colors that way, or do you like your browns and your golds more? I like both. Honestly, I was getting bored of warm eyes as I'm doing a warm eye look. I was getting kind of bored of warm eyes. Everybody has their wonky eye, don't they? They do. Every single one of us. It's harder. I'm going in. And no one's perfect. I'll sit on a client and blend their eyeshadow for dang 20 minutes. Adding a little more there to make it more even. There we go. We're perfect. We're going to dip into that darker color. Tap off a little. I did my face before this, but I did not do my concealer under eye because that's how I'm going to show you how to clean your eye look up. I do concealer afterwards if I'm struggling, or I use eye tapes sometimes that I got on Amazon. I just actually started using those to clean it up. So what you're doing now is you're defining, you're going to tap this into the crease. You see that there? Tap it into your crease. Sometimes you'll even go like this and pounce it in there. And you're kind of creating that tap, tap, tap. And we're going to start blending outward. It looks a little bit funky now, but it will as you're blending. And sometimes I'll go in with the rest of the color. See how we're kind of giving this smoke? Going with the transition color, or the color we put right there in the crease. And that's our way to blend this out later, a little bit later. But you can see we're starting to get that blown out effect. And now we're going to build on it. And sometimes you'll just set down, a lot of times I'll set that color down, and then I'll blend it out with a different brush. But there, look at that. And we'll start to go a little bit in here and a little bit there. Perfect. In person, it looks even more blended. Everything looks weirder on camera on an iPhone in natural light. Sometimes we're gonna do the same thing. It even makes my dark spots and everything else look like way more magnified on camera. It's like it picks up certain colors or something. But, so we're tapping it and we're laying it down. And then I'll start to move that outward. And then sometimes I'll kind of do there. We're starting to create that blown out effect. Takes time. If you don't have time, if I wasn't talking about this eye look would have been done in like 3 seconds for me. But I've been doing it a long time. See how we're starting to build out? Sorry. I'm still getting used to this camera angle. Build it. The reason I'm closer down in my brush is because I want more concentration down here. And then, like we talked about, as we're wanting to move out a little bit. Now, if I wanted to find my socket just a little bit more, I'm going to go with a tiny little baby brush. This is like a little definer brush. So Morphe M507. It's a tiny little guy. And I'm going to go it's like a V type angle. Like that. See how we're building? Like I said, it looks on this camera not as blended as it really is. So now we're building out. Oh, geez. I'll get used to it someday. Oh, there we go. We'll go behind. Let's give ourselves a little more light. It's a little bit cloudy today in Michigan. Kind of go back and forth. Oh, of course I had shimmer on my dang. Oh, Lord. Shimmer's so hard to get off too. So you've created that V, the smoky look. And then you're gonna go back in with that original kind of flat but fluffy brush, and we're gonna go back into that transition color that we started with. And I know I usually will take it and try to, that's how you blend it out. So you kind of diffuse your other color. Another trick, everyday makeup artist. You grab the crappiest towel you have. Once you've blended, if you go back into the other side and it's dark again, or you're trying to blend here, you got to clean off your brush because you're going to take more of that, because you don't, when you're about to blend that crease color in with the darker color to diffuse it, if you still have dark color on your brush and you're trying to diffuse, you're going to put dark up here. So you're going to take a trusty, everybody has one, a little bit rough, and wipe off your color. Another thing I use is a color switch. I don't know where it is right now. It's the off-brand of color switch where you just take your brush, move it around, and it takes the color off it and lets you transition shades a lot quicker. Color switch is what it's called. I'm gonna take that transition color again. See how we're getting and it's about going in and making things even. We are not perfect people. It goes in layers, and then I mean, I'm sure there's someone in the world that's perfect, but it's a lot. Makeup is a lot of going back and forth. And then if you get rid of a little bit of that crease that you actually want, you can go in with what's left on your brush and redefine it again and kind of shimmy back and forth, shimmy up, shimmy from the lash line, shimmy up. This is going to be a long video, but I want it to be very in-depth. I'm hoping that this is helpful to some people. Go, how the heck do you do your makeup? That's it. So now we're smoked out a little bit. Deepen that right there, just right here to make that nice and defined. Perfect. And then what we're gonna do is, if you wanna really take it there, you can do all matte. This would be perfect. Put your liner, mascara on, and you are ready to go. If you know how to do lashes like I showed you in my first tutorial, I think it was my second video I showed lashes. You could put lashes on to make that little effect, but this is it. I mean, this is stunning. Look at that. Okay, and we're ready to go to the club. But if we want to make it a little zhuzhier, I love a good shim. Shimmy, shim, shim. That one's a little dark. I'm going to go back into my Natasha Denona. I think I'm going to go with the outer corner, and that does not mean this needs to be done. I don't do a lot of outer corner shimmer, but I'm going to go into that shimmer, and I'm going to... Shimmers are always... You do not do a shimmer with a dang brush. You might start there. You always go back because it is so much more intensified. See? Intensified with a finger. Same thing on this side. Build it if you want. Sometimes you can also stick a sticky base down. A sticky base primer would be like this, the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion. That's a stickier base than the other one. It does take a second though. You put it down and you have to wait like 30 seconds and it starts to get tacky, and that'll hold your shimmer a little more in place. So now we got that down. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, I think we're done with that shadow. If you're feeling like you can't get your line straight, you're a little wonky, you can either use the eye tapes, which keeps it like more in place, or now you can take a little dot in the inside. Oh gosh, that shimmer. A little dot here, maybe a little there. And this is going to be your cleanup. Usually if I've done because I did other parts of my makeup before I came on camera, I don't look like this naturally. I'll take a little round brush. A lot of times I like the flat brush for my concealer, and again, I'm wiping it off. I need to name this thing. My towel. And you're going to go like that. I always press my concealer down. Look at, we've cleaned up our eye. Look how beautiful. You did that. Because I know you're going to be at home going, oh, that's how we do it. The older you are, younger you are, pat it out. It gets rid of the creasing. And then look at, we just cleaned up our line. Now I'm going to take my under eye mother trucker. Oh, my under eye powder, which I'll use the Charlotte T Flawless setting powder. Like that. We cleaned it up. Look at that eye. Stunning. Now I'm going to take and I'm going to tight line. Tight lining, a lot of people know how to go under here. Oh, shit. Okay, I got to do this in my mirror. And they know to smoke it out that way. Everything looks better and more smoked out. Adding a little liner. Now here's the trick. Is tight lining. That means running it along, and you need a very creamy eyeliner for this or you're screwed. Something that glides really easily. And smoke it out again. That's going to give you a defined, the tight lining is going to give you a thicker lash line. Because there's no breakage or separation in between the two. Between your like lashes, your eye look, whatever. If you want to get a little more smoky, I'm not going to do a wing liner today. But I'm just going to go along my lash line right there. I'm also not going to do a lash. Sometimes lashes are great. If it was a photo shoot or going out going out for the night, I would do a lash. But for daytime, which is when I'm doing this, a little liquid liner along the bottom, let that dry, is going to be great. Then you go back, you assess the situation. You take a completely fluffy brush, make sure she's washed off or whatever, and you're going to go back in, and you're going to kind of just, anything that's not blended, you're going to blend it back in. Then, how good do we freaking look? I'm going to take, I like to add a little, on this look, I like to add a little bit of highlighter. So I'm going to take it from this, and I like to highlight my inner corner and make sure I look bigger. Not like with my jumbo eyes. I need it. But you add a little there, and it gives you that wide open glam look. You can do this with matte shadow too. This gives you your open eye effect. And during that time, my stuff was drying. Always curl your lashes. The best way to curl is get a hold of them and do multiple scrunches and let go. Sometimes, between doing one eye and the other, if you have shimmer on, clean it off with a little baby wipe or something, because it will transfer like it just did on me. It'll transfer shimmer to the other side, and it's in the opposite direction. You'll get shimmer in the outside crease that you don't want. Then I'm going to take mascara, which right now I'm always a Essence / Princess. But this Essence Curl and Volume has been freaking bomb. And honestly, it's the closest thing to my eyelashes looking like falsies I think that I've ever had. Start from the bottom and wiggle up. Another way to make your lashes hold or look fake is what I'm going to do next, which is two different mascaras. I'm going to do that dang shimmer. Oh well. I'm going to Target for Christmas shopping after this, so it does not matter. I still will probably look more glam than 100% of the population in that store in Flint. Oh, yeah, I just said kind of where I'm at. That, and then I'm going to take another kind. I'm going to use, and then you can use waterproof, Lash Princess Waterproof. You're going to start from the bottom and you're going to build on what you already did. This will hold your curl. Anybody who has straight lashes that can't hold a curl on their lashes, even though it's way harder to get off, waterproof is your best bet. There we go. I mean, it's just so pretty. I'm going to take my hair down. I mean, can you get any better? This is my go-to. If I'm ever going out, this is my go-to right at the end of that smoke and a little bit of shimmer, a little bit of building. And honestly, we started from the beginning. We put a little, the first option, a little transition in the crease, mascara, you're done. Second step, building a little bit with a little bit darker shade, pressing it into your socket and slowly tapping it outward to blend. Third option, and that's a little bit more spicy. Third option is adding and tapping in your darkest color onto the outer and building it there. That's the third option, right? Fourth option, add a little bit of shimmer and a little bit of, no matter what, I add a highlight in the corner. But adding that shimmer into the middle, I mean, can you get any better than that? This is it. And I hope you enjoyed. I hope this was very informative. That was the point. And I'll see you in my next tutorial. See you later. Bye.